Hey everyone, I am Coach Linda, and this is another 100 Days of Purpose, a little tidbit for your life. Listen, today's topic is your word is bond, right? Many times we say things and we say them kind of in our tongue in cheek, right? We kind of, yeah, okay, I'll do that, da, 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 da. Or if this ever happens, yeah, I'll do that. And we don't really put a lot of weight or a lot of emphasis on it. And then someone will come back and say, well, you said, and we'll be like, oh, well, that's not what I mean, that was my intention, but this happened or that happens, and we make excuses for not carrying out what we said or not carrying it out in the manner that we initially suggested that we would do. And that's all fine and dandy if you want to live a mediocre life. That's all fine and dandy if you're not going to be strategic and intentional about how you move forward and how you align yourself with purpose. But if you're going to be a person of purpose, saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and understanding that if you speak it, it has to be so, is more than its weight in gold. It's more than um all the riches that you could ever have. And so what I want to really focus on today in this conversation or in this coaching segment, if you will, is choose your words wisely. Choose what you agree to do or not to do wisely. Um, and if you have no intentions on doing it, if you have no intentions on performing it, if you have no intentions on carrying it out, then don't say it. Some people say, well, I don't hurt someone's feelings. But don't you think you hurt their feelings when they find out that you never intended to do what you said? Do you think that it hurts their feelings when they are depending on you? You said, well, I promise, this happens, I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. I'm going to be there with you. And then they get in a situation where they need you to support them and be there, and you don't show up. You don't even care enough to call and say, I know I said I would be there, but this, that, and the other. Your word is bond. We've gotten away from it. In the generation that we live, we say things flippantly, right? And, we don't mean any of it. And we got to get back to understanding that people used to sign contracts with a handshake and their word. They used to sign $1 million contracts, $1,000 contracts that would change the future of lives on the handshake and their word. And they would say that phrase, my word is bond. My word is bond. If you're going to be a person of purpose, we got to get back to thinking my word is bond. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect in this, because we sometimes we do have good intentions on doing things, right? And at the time that we say it, that's what we really mean. But I have to remind myself, if you take the time to open up your mouth and form the words, take the time to intentionally make sure that you can do what you said. On TikTok, I'm on these trains, these follow trains, they call them. And one is the Black Girl Follow Train, and the other is the Elevate Challenge. And the premise of both challenges or both trains is that if you follow me, I'll follow you back, right? So on the Black Girl Follow train, it's Black owned businesses, Black owned females following one another, supporting one another, liking, commenting, sharing, and financially supporting those things that they can, right? And the Elevate challenge is to put out more content and to make sure that content is relevant to the people that are following you, but to like and support and to share. It's a give and take. And so what I find is that there are people on these trains that said, if you follow me, I'll follow you back. But they're not doing that. They're not keeping their word. They're not keeping they don't understand that their word is their bond. And I choose not to live my life according, if I'm going to agree to do something, I don't want to live my life according to someone saying, well, you know what, Linda will say she'll do something, but she won't do it. You know, Linda will be there in front of the crowd. She'll be, "Woo, yeah, I got your back." But behind the scenes, she never does. I don't want that to be said of me. And I'm sure in the past, some have felt that way, and I have been that way. But as I move on and become this person of purpose that I want to be, and that I preach about and teach about and coach about, then I've got to make sure that I'm living it too, right? And so I want to lead by example, and I want to lead by the thing. That's why I said I'm doing 100 days of purpose. And so far, God willing, moving forward, I won't miss a day because my word is my bond. I will be here. And I try not to say what time I'm going to be here because I know my life is my day from day to day. There's just so many other things. Nothing is really set in stone for me. So, sometimes I might be on in the morning. Sometimes I might be on in the afternoon. Sometimes I might be on in the evening. And sometimes I might be on right before midnight. It just really depends. But my goal is, I said I was going to do 100 days of purpose, and I'm going to do 100 days of purpose. My goal is, I said, if you are following me, I'll follow you back. My purpose is that if I am going to elevate my content and elevate my life and elevate my business and elevate how I become a TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram influencer, then I got to be more consistent. And so my word of the day is consistency. My word of the year is consistency. And so therefore, as a person of purpose, I've got to strategically, intentionally, on purpose, be consistent. I've got to strategically, intentionally, on purpose, be committed to saying what I mean and meaning what I say and holding myself accountable without somebody else coming in and saying, you said such and such. No, I need to hold myself accountable for the words that come out of my mouth. Because my word is bond. Your word is bond. If you say you're going to do it, then do it. And if you can't do it, because life happens, right? Stuff happens. But if you can't do it, be that person, that intentional person that picks up the phone, shoots off a text, sends an email, or, there's so many ways to get in touch with people nowadays that there's no excuse not to say, hey, look, I know I'm supposed to be there in 15 minutes, but I'm not going to make it. Or I know I'm supposed to be there in 2 hours, but I'm not going to make it. This is what's going on. And it has nothing to do with you. My situations have changed. People can understand that because life happens to us all. But when you say you're going to do something and you make no effort to do it or to explain why beforehand, because see, after the fact, it's kind of null and void. They've already formed their opinion. They've already come up with their own scenario. And regardless of how much you say, they may say, oh, you know what, that makes sense. I understand, some of us are big people and we'll put our big girl panties on and we'll say, okay, well, I get it. And we'll let it go. But most of us are petty. We're petty Paulas. And we're going to hold on to our narrative of why you did not do what you said you were going to do. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to break the relationship. So let's be people of our word. Let's understand our word is bond. Let's say what we mean and mean what we say. And let's be intentional and let's be strategic and on purpose with our communication. So when things do go awry, when things do have to change, people will know, look, when I'm dealing with Linda, if she says she's going to be here, she's going to be here. And if she's not going to be here, I'm going to know in enough time that I can make other arrangements. That's what it means to be intentional, deliberate, to understand if I'm going to be successful in this life, if I'm going to be successful, I'm not talking about business and stuff. I'm just success as a person, as a human being, part of the human race, then I've got to recognize that my word is bond. And I got to watch the words that are coming out of my mouth. It's more than if I don't have anything to say, don't say anything at all. It's more than that. I'm going to be deliberate about what I say, and I'm going to be intentional about who I say it to. So yeah, I'm Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. That was a tidbit for your life. And I want you to know that only those that can see the invisible can achieve the impossible. So dare to be you, and the world is going to adjust.